Dazzler Port channel 108, the only channel you need to watch, the only channel you need to see. The channels you watch, channels I see. Not here to impress, only here to express. 22nd of July, no it's not, 22nd of June 2021, 2025, get it right, day after summer solstice. Soon be Christmas 2033, soon be Easter 2030, or 2040 even. When the Vapor Canopy returns, beautiful sunshine. They tell us the sun is bad for us. Everything they tell us, the opposite is true. Whatever they tell you to do the opposite. You'll do good. But when the masses, whatever the masses do the opposite too, because the masses, the NPC majority population, are just literally walking into the abyss. Lemmings going off the edge of the cliff. I think it was Mark Twain that said that. I think he quoted, he was saying that if whatever the majority of people do the opposite. It's hard to be an individual. It's hard to step out of the crowd and go a different direction. Because that crowd will look round at you and start laughing at you, start shouting at you, will scorn and gloat, point the finger, This is the price you have to pay for being an individual, for expressing your free, for being free. You have to be thick-skinned, but it doesn't fucking matter what the majority think, because you can see when you're awake, you can see they're heading into the abyss. I mean, the classic example, 2020, 2021, 22, the big scamdemic, when they weaponised the common cold and the seasonal flu, told you it was going to kill you, told you that if you get too close to someone and breathe on someone, you're going to kill them. And they started putting cloth masks over the faces, started taking this dodgy vaccine that had only just come out on the production line. I think I'm kind of alright to say that now on YouTube. I think they've eased off on the algorithms with that one. A lot of people are talking openly about it on YouTube now. It's not getting channel strikes. Still got to be careful though. YouTube channels taken down because of that back then. I was reporting on the old incident, but yeah, that was the classic example of doing questioning the mainstream narrative. They're bleating it out like sheep. The Animal Farm, George Orwell's story, The Animal Farm, the sheep would be the ones to use to bleat out the party slogans. When the animals took over the farm, the revolution, the sheep would be bleating, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. That was like the slogan of the animals. And then the pigs who were heading the revolution up, who took over the farm, who were running the farm, when they started acting like humans themselves and started walking on their back legs and started walking dressing up like humans, smoking cigars and drinking champagne and all that, selling the sheep and the other animals to the slaughterhouses. What was there was a horse called Napoleon, wasn't there, in the character Napoleon, the loyal workhorse. He worked himself to an early grave, and once he was unable to work anymore, they was trying to build a windmill, weren't they? And he was working so hard, he was very dedicated to working for Animal Farm. He was a believer in Animal Farm. He was a believer in the collective. But as soon as he was incapable of working anymore, he became lame. The pigs just sold to the glue factory. And the sheep are bleating, 2 legs, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. And then the slogan changed to 4 legs good, 2 legs better. And there was no different, nobody noticed. Well, some of the animals noticed, but the sheep didn't notice, obviously. The sheep constituted the majority of the animal farm livestock population. And it's beautiful here in the woods. And sheeple, you know, the NPCs, the peasants. And there is 30% of the human population, actually, that don't have an inner monologue or any dialogue. They don't have any thought process going on. They're really just running on a program. They get up, they have the breakfast, they watch the TV news, then they go to work, and they do the work without question. They might moan a little bit, you know, but they do it anyway. There's a pheasant over there. Probably can't see it from here. I think it's a pheasant. No, it's a crow. It's a crow. My eyes are going. There's all pheasants around here. But yeah, I mean, there's 30% of the human population. There's nothing going on. There's basically nothing going on upstairs. Nothing going on there. 50% of the human population, they do question, they do think, but they're too afraid to speak out, they're too afraid to act upon those thoughts, and they're following the other 30%. They're just, the 30% are the ones, basically, like the sheep in Animal Farm. The sheep in Animal Farm are leading the rest of the livestock. They represent that 30% of the unthinking population. They just, whatever narrative is being spewed out, they'll just take it that question. First it was 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, and then it changed to 4 legs good, 2 legs better. And no question, without question. And I tell you what, 2020 to 2022 during the scamdemic, that was a proper Animal Farm experience, you know. You saw who the sheep were. And they also saw who the 30% were. You also saw who the 50%. I was talking to people who questioned the narrative and spoke about it, but they said, "Yeah, well, you got to do it anyway, you know. Oh, I've got to go to Benidorm for my holiday. I've got to go, you know. I need to go on holiday. I need to get the injection because I can't go on holiday otherwise. I don't want the injection, but I want to go on holiday. I know it's maybe not good for me. I'm a bit iffy about it, but I want to go on holiday." So, and I know someone. I know a friend of my brother. He took the injection because he wanted to go on holiday. 6 weeks later, he was dead. That was the first casualty that I actually knew of from that, who I personally knew. I know at least 6 people, and I know of maybe 6 more who've died or been seriously injured from that jab, you know. But this is going on, and those of us, so you got the 30%, the 50%, and then you've got the 20%, the critical thinking, 10% of which they do something about it. You say 10% of that 20% actually activists. They're doing something about it. They're going off grid, investing in gold, silver, and crypto. They're learning life skills. They're basically that 10% is basically ready when the shit show really starts to hit the fan, and the 15-minute city comes in, and digital central currency, CBDC, UBI, all that kind of bollocks. When everyone's life is digitalised into the Internet of Things, and people have got absolutely no freedom whatsoever. When people's life become so micromanaged that they can't even think without getting slapped on the wrist. That's what they're aiming for. They won't succeed. But this is what they're gunning for. The scamdemic 2020 to 2022 was an acid test to see how compliant people were. And a lot of people failed. Most people failed. Most people failed that test. And those of us who didn't go along with that, we got laughed at, scorned, we lost friends, we stopped talking to family members. It was a pretty incredible time, really. Yeah, so you got the 30%, the 50%, and then the remaining 20%, 10% of who are doing something about it. The other 10% I kind of like just procrastinating. I think I fall into that 10%. The procrastinators and lazy bastards. That's kind of me, that. Well, yeah, something has to be done. You've got to. It's not easy. You've got to become a highly individualised soul to actually survive now. You have to become highly individual, not just to survive, but to thrive. You know. This is the way the humanity is going. It's diverging into two worlds. You got the. It's like we're going down a road now, and there's a left turn, the right turn. The left turn is going into the dystopia, digital dystopia, absolute control, and digital gulags. And the right road is that's just breaking free of the matrix, living off grid, going the Amish way, you could say. We're right there. We're at the cusp of that time now. And World War III, is it going to kick off now? They've been threatening World War III for a long time. They keep shifting the distraction. They keep shifting the attention. It was Russia and Ukraine. Now it's Israel and Iran. And it's shit is getting real, but they're throwing so much shit out there in the media. It's a jungle of information and misinformation. It's a jungle of confusion, and it's by design. They don't want people to be informed. They don't want people to know what's going on. Morning. So, and you've got to switch off. You have to switch off a lot of the time. Switch off the mobile phone, switch off the internet, get out into the woods, think, get in touch with nature, get in touch with God, get in touch with yourself. I try and do that as much as I can, that's and to improve the world, you've got to start with yourself. To improve the world, you've got to start with yourself. By improving yourself, you improve the world. Because we're all interconnected. We're all interconnected, None of us are perfect, but we strive for perfection nevertheless. I think that's a crow that I thought was a pheasant earlier on. There's absolutely no pheasants in these woods. I don't know why I thought it was a pheasant. So my eyes are bloody going. Yeah, it's a wonderful morning. Take full advantage of the sunshine. Today, it's night start to draw in. It'll soon be Christmas. 2033, it'll soon be Easter. 2040, when the vapor canner returns. Improve yourself to improve the world. It's a two-way thing. We are one with the world, actually. We are one with the environment. And at the same time, we're also individual. Simultaneously. We are both one and different from God. We are both one and different from the environment. We are both one and different from each other. All connected as the organic whole. We're connected to these trees, connected to the insects, connected to the birds, connected to the earth, connected to the sun, connected to the air, all interconnected, everything's connected. Not isolated units trapped in a meat suit body, like, that's what we're taught, isn't it? The meat suit body avatar. Anyway, I think that should do now. Leave it on that note. Bless. Peace. Namaste.